certain views that the black community has held since we became slaves were taught to us by slaves. Okay, so for instance, being anti-gay, anti-trans, that we learned that from massa. Okay, we didn't those weren't always self-evident truths to us. I'm not gonna say we decided to think that way, but it was decided for us that this is how society is gonna be: mom, dad, white picket fence, and a dog, right? And those are institutions of white colonialism, European colonialism, and capitalism. Okay, and the reason why I'm bringing this all up is because there was a woman who was beat the fuck up by a crowd of black guys. I don't know what happened. Okay, hold on, let me put myself back in camera. I don't know what happened. I was not there. Okay, but I did hear someone say something about in that video, something about how fuck that faggot shit or whatever the fuck, right? Is what they said. And that is not gonna fly. Okay, we need to understand that the very same forces and structures that also she was trans. I don't know if I mentioned that, but she's a trans woman. Okay, the very same forces and structures that allow black men to be killed in the streets every single fucking day are the very same forces and structures that threaten trans people as well. And we need to understand that that is not how we were meant to act as a species. Have whatever opinion you have on trans people, but at the end of the day, they're human beings, and threatening their humanity is saying it's okay to threaten people's humanity at the end of the day. And that same mentality will give the cops the I guess ethical permission to say, these black people, I can shoot them just as much as I want, because obviously there are people who deserve to die or to be beat the fuck up because of their identity, because of who they, how they look. You know what I mean? So this is not something that's going to fly. If you are a black person, if you are any person, but especially if you're a black person, understand that type of mentality is setting you up for failure, and it's not going to, unless if you're okay with being shot in the streets by police, and unless if you're okay by being hated by people who hate you just as much as you hate trans people, because then okay, fine, then you understand as a rule that people are lesser. Some people are lesser, some people are higher. Okay, if you're not okay with that, then you need to understand that everyone's a human being and they need to be treated with respect and they need to be protected. And that's all I have to say on that. That shit cheesed the fuck out of me. It was I was so angry when I saw that shit, man.
It's a lot of things that get indoctrinated that have come from like the dominant hegemony. Like for instance, like just in general, like the way black men view black women, like especially like in the sense of like in their relations to other races as well. Like a lot of that stuff gets taught to us, and it's so weird because at the same time, like I can't speak because this isn't my experience. Like I've had both parents when I'm home, both parents with me.
Yeah.
Like in my life.
Yeah.
So I can't speak by experience, but there are a lot of like young black men that didn't have fathers that growing up in their life, or should I say, young black children.
Yes.
In general.
Yeah. 100%.
It's just so weird where like, oh yo, I'll do anything for my mama or anything like that, and then after you turn around and you're an asshole to like most women, especially black women.
Yep.
Like it makes absolutely no fucking sense because at the same time your mom's a black woman, and even then, just because you guys are the same race doesn't necessarily mean that that's the one thing that earns them your respect. Like they should have it to begin with, no matter what.
Exactly.
Because, again, they're human beings. It's just really weird. And the problem is that a lot of these images are reinforced within our black communities. And I'm not saying like, oh, blame the rap music or anything like that. I fucking enjoy rap. Like that shit's my life. Like I grew up on it. I make it. Like I love it. But at the same time, it's just like the images that are put forward in the in the media portraying black people, like I find something hugely wrong with that, because again, like, there have been times in my life where I'm like, people think I'm supposed to be a certain stereotype, and then I subvert their opinion, and either I get things like, "Oh, you speak so well, you're so articulate." And it's just like, I have to ask the question: would you say that to a white person?
Yeah.
Or, "Oh, you're not black enough because you don't speak in Ebonics," or like, basically like, you know, like slang too often.
Yeah.
Like, that thing's wrong too, because again, it alienates people that look just like you, just because you don't fit into a stereotype that is made by largely white supremacists.
Yeah.
Like, that shit makes no fucking sense to me. And the more that I started learning about like how these things manifest, like, the more disgusted I get when I get these things from people. Like, again, it's all a dominant hegemony, where everybody has this in their subconscious because, again, they're socialized that way from this society. So at the same time, like, you have to remember, if you're going to champion, like, if you're going to be, or not champion, or stand up for the injustices of some people, like, it's not going to work, because at the same time, hatred is hatred whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, I can't go and say, "Oh, I love black people," and then say I hate gays, or I hate Jews, or I hate another certain person, because at the same time, it's just like, this is the exact same thing I'm trying to fight against for my people, and that right should be denied from other people because of just my opinion on it. Like, and again, you're just, again, as Ferris said, you're justifying, like, white people thinking that black people are inferior.
Yep.
You're justifying that shit by doing that.
Yeah.
So at the same time, it just makes no sense. Like, the amount of times I've heard where, like, oh, basketball players are outed for like having relations with trans women, and then like, yo, nobody wants to fuck with them anymore, or people make fun of them at the end of the day.
That goes beyond even athletes. It's just like a more societal thing. Like
anybody.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's so many hurdles that we have to like jump over, and that's the thing. Like, humanity is evolving like every single day. So at the same time, if we can't even get like our shit together on things like sexism or racism or religion, then like, again, it's gonna be even hard. It's gonna be even harder for like people who are even outside of all of those things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, not to say that like trans people are outside of like things like gender or sexism, but like, you know what I mean?